Welcome, everybody. It's a real pleasure to be with you this evening. My name, as I mentioned, is Cristina Williams, and tonight we are doing an ASEA team training. The topic for this evening that we chose to go with was how to overcome the obstacles that different people face as they are building the business. And the reason I decided to do this training tonight was because I'm constantly working with a lot of people in different markets and dealing with a lot of different situations, but there do seem to be some common threads. There do seem to be some factors that, keep repeating themselves. And as always, I want to help people to be able to move forward from where they are today to where they want to be. I've worked with so many of you personally, and I know your goals. I know that we all want to be a little bit further along. And sometimes I've started to notice patterns as I work with people of things that work. Oftentimes we do trainings, like we've done some great ones recently on, the key factors of a great leader or the factors of a great communicator or, how to do time management. But sometimes I think it's good to dip a little bit into the things that we, should not do as well, right? We do a lot of trainings around the things we ought to do, but this training is orientated around some of the pitfalls that you might face. And hopefully, if you identify yourself along this conversation that we're going to have, if there's something that you go, oh my gosh, that's me, I do that, hopefully I'm going to help you break through some walls on how to get through that. Okay, so let's launch into it. So firstly, I guess I wanted to clarify that sometimes I feel like we need to be reminded that we are each building our own business. If you're here and you're a product user, this conversation will probably not make sense. I'm really talking to you today as if you intend to build an international distribution business. And if that is the case, then there are some things that we need to take into account. The first thing is that you probably have some goals. I hope that now, as we're starting to turn the corner into the new year, you're looking at some of the things that you set for yourself as wanting to achieve in 2019. And I hope that at least some of the things on that list you've been able to tick off and you've been able to achieve. There may also be some things on there that you didn't achieve. And, that's okay. I've missed plenty of goals along the way. That's not a big deal. What matters is how do we reset those goals? How do we examine why maybe we didn't hit those goals? And how do you stay motivated as you reset? That's really important. So it's a really important time for planning and also for reflection, I think. And as I reflected along some of the things that I've witnessed, that I've done wrong in my journey and that some other people have done that have taken them off path, here are the top 3 that I think people stumble on and what can we do to get around them. All right, so I've prepared a very, very brief PowerPoint. This is not PowerPoint Central tonight, only 4 slides, but I want to talk a little bit about each one of them. So reasons people struggle and how to overcome them. Now, the first one, it really is just so obvious. You probably all guessed it, lack of consistency. This is not exclusive to this business. It's not exclusive to, excuse me, just 2 seconds. I need to move this down to the bottom down here. Okay, cool. All right, so lack of consistency. This is not exclusive to this business. This is exclusive to any endeavor. If you're seeking to grow plants, to build muscle, to build a building, anything that requires any level of evolution requires consistency. There's no point to being brilliant for just one day. There's no point to doing a 9-hour workout one day and not going the rest of the month. The key with any kind of transformation is consistency. So let's firstly accept that in order to go from where you are today to where you want to be is going to take an evolution. I think this was one of the very first things that I found challenging that I had to address in myself when I first came to run my own business. There was a lot of things that I wanted in my life. At the time, I was a single mom with the 4 boys. A lot of you know the story. I was running my own business, but year after year, I was just kind of treading the same water. I really wasn't progressing in my life. I was having the same kind of problems, feeling the same kinds of frustrations year after year. And the very first step to changing that was addressing that I had some bad habits. I had some bad thinking, but that I had to own where I was. The problems that I continued to generate, the frustrations I continued to have were really a result of my thinking and my evolution. And in order for me to have more, to have better options in my life, I had to grow. It wasn't just about having a great opportunity like you have here in ASEA. We all have the same opportunity, but different people do different things with it. It's not just about the opportunity. Really, the key is, what do you do with that opportunity? You know, and it's going to take an evolution. It's going to take some growth. And that is going to be a result of consistent actions in a different direction. So there is a cumulative effect. You know, I talk to my kids about this all the time. We make little decisions that we think do not matter, but it's that cumulative effect that ends up making the difference between a winner and a loser. You know, the guy that stands on the gold medal, holding the gold medal at the podium, and the guy that didn't make the team. It's maybe not a massive difference in their skill set. It's not lack of opportunity. They may even be, you know, equally matched in most senses. But it is that consistency in their development, that consistency in the training. And usually it's the things that nobody is watching, you know, the times that you give yourself the out, that you say, oh, I don't think I'm going to do this today, or I don't think I'm going to show up to that workshop, or I don't think I'm going to reach out to anybody today. We think those little decisions don't matter, but that is really where the line is drawn between people that achieve a level of success here and people that don't. So you don't need to be great. I think this should be a relief, you know, certainly a relief for me. When I first came to this industry, I was kind of awed, you know, I was awed by some of the people with their high level of success. I was thinking, my goodness, like, they are so refined, they're so good with people, and that's not me. You know, I was not used to talking to many people every day. I wasn't used to this kind of an industry. I was really just very much in my own shell. But it was a relief to realize I didn't have to be anybody else. I didn't have to be awesome at anything in particular. I just had to be consistent. And with consistency, what you're going to see is your skill level improving. Your luck is going to improve. You know, you make your own luck out of activity, and your results are going to improve. Because as long as you're checking in with a coach every week and adjusting your skills, you know, looking at what people are doing at a workshop, talking to your coach and looking at how you can improve, consistency is going to take you through an improvement, refinement process. Because if you consistently repeat something and it's not giving you results, you're going to get a little frustrated. You're going to talk to your coach. You're going to put your hand up and learn and adjust until you find your groove. And that's really what this is about, finding a way to get comfortable on the bicycle, because after that, it's a repetition of the same things. It's a very simple pattern. Basically, all we do is reach out to people, educate them on a new technology, help them get started, and you repeat that loop. So there aren't 500 things to learn. It's a very limited skill set really to learn, but it's how well you repeat that skill set that is going to give you results. So how do we create consistency? Okay, so if you're finding, you're sitting there and you're thinking, okay, that's definitely me. Like, why can't I stay consistent? You know, why is it that it's just, I see myself excited, but then I see myself going off track? Well, let me give you this hint. We create consistency through daily habits, daily deliberate little habits. It's not going to be, you know, success is not going to be a large, massive event. It's not going to be this one giant moment. Success is going to be a succession of little moments. So here's my key to you on this one. Build good habits. Win in the little moments. Don't be waiting for the big win. Don't be waiting for the big moment. There's no secret sauce. It really is just going to come down to the little wins. Get used to checking this with your decisions. When you're making decisions, get used to checking in with yourself on your decisions. You know, when you're thinking, should I go and do this today? Should I go and plug into that workshop? Should I go and reach out to that person? Or should I take the afternoon off? If you're in a building stage, ask yourself the following question. Does this bring me closer to my goal, or does it take me further away? It's crazy that we don't ask that question enough. A lot of the time we're used to making decisions in our life because, do I feel like it? Is it what I'm good at? Is it what I like? You know, we choose entire careers that way. It's crazy that we stop asking the question, is it going to get me to my goals? Is this going to give me the outcome I'm seeking? When we ask that question, consistency becomes easier, because if you have clarity, you stop focusing on the work and you start focusing on the results. You know, I suppose it's something that applies for everything. You know, I was at the gym today and there was a moment where I was just really demotivated. And when I do that, I focus on the image that I'm trying to create about my body. There's parts of my body that I'm not happy with right now that I'm trying to work on. And when I feel like getting off that treadmill, I think about the results. I think about how badly I want to fit in those jeans again and how good I want to look at Christmas. You know, I start to focus on the results, and then I get a little bit more excited about the work. Some of you heard this example. Recently, I was in the car with the kids, and I said, all right, how would you feel if I stopped the car? And I said, we're going to run 1 kilometer that way. And if you don't have a reason why, it just seems like work. And the kids were like, well, why are we going to run? Why are we going to do that? That seems like a stupid thing to do. 1 kilometer, it's hot, we're tired. And then I said, okay, well, let's just change the focus. What if I told you that 1 kilometer down the road is a guy giving out free tickets to Movie World, he's giving out Xboxes, chocolate, you know, everything that kids like. And you just got to come to the table and take whatever you want. It's a big table of free stuff. They were like, are you serious? I was like, no, it's just an example. But how would you feel? How would you feel? You know, and mentally they were like, well, yeah, of course, we wouldn't care. We'd run really quickly. We would, of course, the run would still be hard, but we'd be excited to do it. And it seems like a real childish observation, but that really goes for each one of us. If you feel that you're lacking consistency, you're probably not locked in on why you're doing this really well. You may have locked in on things you want, right? But maybe you're not really locked in on things that you emotionally are moved by. And there is a difference. You know, I'd like a new Aston Martin, but I really don't care that much. But there are things in my life that do motivate me, and they're to do with my family. So lock into those emotional goals and focus on those, and you'll find yourself gravitating to the work instead of away from it. But lack of consistency is definitely one to watch out for. The second one, which seems a little bit related, but I really wanted to separate it, is lack of effort. Because consistency, sometimes people can consistently show up and do very little. We do need consistency, but you also need to work hard. I'm sorry if this is something that, you know, you felt we should have cushioned. But if I'm talking to you right now in this training, I'm talking to you as a business builder. You know, you've seen the results of people who build this business. In less than a year, you can build a 6-figure income. In 2 to 3 years, you can build a 7-figure income. I think that's really fair reward for effort, but it's not a free ride. You're going to have to work hard, and so we should, right? If I expect to make $1 million a year out of anything, I should work hard, you know, unless it's illegal. But I should accept that there's a level of work. So let's not be afraid of it. Let's really push into it, because it can become fun. Once you really understand why you're doing what you're doing, you're not worried about the work. And if you find yourself feeling, I guess, lazy, let's call it what it is, like you feel like, you just can't get motivated to do this. It seems like a good idea. You definitely would like to make better income. You kind of hate your job, but you just feel lazy. You just can't work up the energy and the motivation. Then here's my hot tip to overcome it. You need to work on your belief systems. Okay, so let me just explain that a little bit. Effort comes from expectation. We get in life not what we want. We get in life what we expect. Okay, I'm going to repeat that because that is a key statement. You get in life not what you want. You get in life what you expect. Everybody would like a better life, but what do you really expect? Our upbringing, whatever's happened to us as we grew up, whatever obstacles we face, environmental, even genetic factors, can have an impact on how we feel about ourselves. They really can. And we each carry a belief level, whether we do it consciously or we accept it or not. We each carry a belief as to where we fit in life. We carry a belief as to the kind of life we deserve, the kind of life we're going to have, the kind of success that we feel is suitable to each one of us. And it's interesting that you can have somebody who has a high level of success and they can lose it all, but it doesn't take them long to rebuild it. Why is that? Because they have a very high expectation of how easy things should be for them, or how success, or how they attract their own success. Conversely, you have some people that are given time and time and again opportunities. They can even win the lotto. They can have good things come their way, but they continue to self-sabotage. Why does that happen? Because maybe they have a low belief level as to where they are and where they should be. That expectation, it is a subconscious program that drives our results. This is an important key. Now, why would I put any effort into something if I didn't really think it would work for me? Conversely, if I think something is going to work for me, I don't mind doing the work. Ask yourself this question right now. If you knew that your activity was guaranteed to give you a diamond and above income, would you mind doing the work? If you had a date, if I sat with you and I said to you, in 21 months, I guarantee you, you are going to have, you're going to be earning, the median diamond income, which is around $21,000 a month. What would you feel about the level of work? Would you care about having to work hard? No, you wouldn't, because you are certain about the outcome. Let me put it again in simplistic terms. I can't help doing this because I'm a mum, but let's say that I've got a ball in my hand right now and that I make this movement. I go like this, like I'm about to throw it. I pretend I'm about to throw it to you. If I did that to most people, what are they going to do with their hands? If I've got a ball in my hand and I go as if I'm going to throw it, move my hand like I'm going to throw it, most people are going to reflect as a reflex. They're going to put their hands up to catch it. Go out and try it. It's something that happens. You pretend you're going to throw something, people go up to catch it. Why did they do that? Why did they move their hands up? That motion comes from expectation. They put their hands up because they thought something was about to happen. Now, a lot of people come into a business like this, but they don't really expect anything to happen for them. And so they don't act like they should. They don't behave in ways that will give them results because they're not expecting results. Motion, just like the motion of a hand, motion doesn't happen. They don't feel the motivation because they don't expect the results. So that, my hot tip for you, if you're not feeling motivated, I would encourage you to explore your expectations, because you can be doing a little bit of effort without intention. You can even, I've seen this is a doozy. You can even go out to do work to prove to yourself that you're not successful. I see it. Sometimes people go out and they do a very bare little minimum of activity, but their expectation is totally that it's not going to work for them. And they prove themselves right. So lift your effort by improving your expectations. How do you do that? If you came to my house, you would see around my home, I've got a lot of affirmations, but I also have done something from the day dot that has honestly changed my life. Hank, I would encourage you to write down your affirmations and record them in your own voice. If you've got an iPhone or an Android, there's a Memo app, whatever, and you can go in there and record your own voice. And I'll show you in the next section exactly how to do that. But I've recorded basically a message from myself from the future. I'm so happy and I'm so grateful now that. And it's like a affirmation that I repeat. And the changes that have happened in my life in the last 2 years from thinking from results rather than from the present have been really powerful. Unfortunately, most of us are trained to use our imaginations poorly. We spend a lot of time in expectation of bad things. Because bad things have happened, we learn to extrapolate, and we get used to, we build a habit of expecting bad things. And when people say, oh, I don't meditate, well, we all meditate. We all think about something. Unfortunately, most of us have been taught to think about the bad things. We spend time meditating on our money problems, on our relationship issues, on our body, self-image. We spend time thinking about our problems, so we give them energy. And that is as powerful as meditation as a positive one. The subconscious has no judgment. You can put energy into bad things, into good things, but at the end of the day, whatever you feed is going to grow. So if you're feeling lack of effort, if you're feeling lazy, look at your expectations. Perhaps you don't expect results, and that you're acting in a way that's going to prove yourself right. So address the thinking, and that's something Malcolm talks about a lot in his talks. Okay, the final thing I want to talk about is lack of vision. Sometimes people come into this industry, they understand redox, they understand a little bit about the business comp plan, but it's like the penny hasn't dropped and they really haven't understood what they have on their hands. I can talk about this because this was definitely me. So Malcolm got started in ASEA, as you guys know, about 1.5 years ahead of me. And I already knew it was a cool product. I had seen changes in my kids. I had seen changes in my parents. I had seen changes myself. I knew it was a great product, but I hadn't understood that it was a breakthrough. I just thought it was another cool health product. It took me a while of looking and sifting through scientific journals, looking at the research, looking at webinars, and seeing people have transformations around me. It took me even going to Utah to meet the team over there until the penny went clang and I went, wow, holy cow, this is a genuine scientific medical breakthrough, is poised to change the industry. And wait a minute, I can participate, I can bring it to market. When am I going to have an opportunity to do something that big with my life ever again? I think that there's so many of us that have gotten blasé with what we've got in our hands. It is the entrepreneur's dream to have a product that has no competition, that is heavily patented, that is breakthrough, that is powerful, that everybody needs, and that has the capacity to change lives. If I could give any entrepreneur that kind of a profile for a business, they would say that's impossible. That's a dream business. That's really what we have on our hands. And sometimes we go sleepy on ourselves and we forget how awesome this opportunity really is. So lack of vision can not only just be about the business, lack of vision can also be something that we have about ourselves. I kind of just touched on that before. But do you really expect your life to change? I want to leave some time for discussion and for questions. So I'm not going to drag this out too long, but I want to ask you a question. And I know there's a few people on this call, but let's make this question just between you and me. Okay, answer this question for yourself. Do you have clarity of where you're going to be in the next 5 years? 5 years from today, do you have clarity as to where you're going to be? Now, you know what? It's okay if you're a teenager or if you're, just kicking off your life in your early 20s. It's okay not to have that kind of a detailed plan. But if you've been traveling now in your professional life for, let's say, a decade, and you haven't been doing it with a plan, then where you are today is no different to basically just being a bumper car. Being reactive and just kind of going from one thing to the next, responding to whatever's happening. I know, surveys have been done on job satisfaction, on life satisfaction. And I love what Steve Jobs says. If you're waking up every day and you're not loving what you do, you need to reevaluate it. You need to reevaluate it. I'd like to ask you the question, do you have an exact vision? If I said to you right now, close your eyes and tell me what it's like when you wake up 5 years from today. What does your home look like? When you walk through that house, what are the feelings that you get? What is the, I imagine walking through the house I'm going to be living at. I can tell you even the coffee machine that I'm looking at getting. What does the view look like from your balcony? What kind of relationship are you in? How happy are the feelings that you have in your family? What are the options that you have that day? What are the things that you choose to do with your life? What kind of achievements can you look back on in 5 years? How many lives have you impacted? What are the things you're most proud of? What are the things you've learned? What are the things you're glad you let go of? What are the things that you're planning in that time? What does your bank account look like? What does your health look like? What does your personal growth look like? My question is, if we don't have a plan, then you're really leaving your life up to just a series of accidents, a series of, cross your fingers and let's hope it works out. And then it's no wonder that we wake up in 5 years and nothing has changed. I took my kids out to do a little experiment. Was probably about a year and a half ago. We took a brick and we took it out to the forest and we put it down on the ground. And I said to the boys, let's look at this brick and let's see if in 5 minutes it can become a wall. And they laughed. They thought I was ridiculous. They already think I'm ridiculous. I said, all right, hang on a second. What if we came back in a few hours? Could it be a big wall? They said, no, that's silly, Mum. It's not going to happen. I said, all right, maybe if we leave it longer. What if we go away and in a week's time come back? Could it have turned itself into a house? Anyway, I carried on like this for a while and they just kept saying, no, it's stupid. Of course it's not going to turn into anything. And that's when I made my point. I said, exactly, because time alone changes nothing. Growth is a deliberate choice you make to improve yourself every single day. Growth in your business is a deliberate result of the actions we take every single day. Just expecting time to change things is a dangerous game to play. I'm sure you know people like I do that are 50 years old but have not evolved emotionally since they were 20, even 15. They're living the same frustrations. I'm sure you have, like I have, had conversations with friends that are doing the same life every single year over and over. And they're complaining about the same problems. You're having the same conversation about their marriage, about their job, about everything that they don't like in their life. And it's like Groundhog Day because 5 years have gone by and they're hoping that by some magic dust things are going to change, and they don't. I challenge you to really take this honest look at yourself and infuse your life with some vision. Write a letter to yourself and be deliberate about what you want to change in your life. Begin your day with, like, I am so grateful and excited now that I am, now that I have. Make sure that your affirmations take place in the present so that your subconscious start to absorb what it feels like to be a different, better version of you. I know that through improving yourself, you can improve the lives of other people. And through improving yourself, you can build a big business, a large organization, because most of what we do, even though we're operating in the medical field, let's say in the health industry, most of what we do is actually dealing with people. The person that's going to go the furthest here isn't somebody that understands biochemistry really, really well. It helps. It's not somebody that understands diseases really well. Yes, it helps. The person that goes, the people that go the furthest are people who understand people really well. And guess who the person is we need to understand the most? Ourselves. We literally begins right there. The understanding, the growth, the challenge, all lies within. I'll close with this. It's a really awesome African saying I'll never forget. Once you have conquered the enemy within, the enemy without can do you no harm. It's not the challenges around you that are the problem. The challenges around you going on, they'll always be there. They're there for other people. Once you get your insides sorted out, once you get this space in here between your two ears, strong, balanced, empowered, once you have your vision sorted out, once you're very clear on the expectations that you have for your life, everything else will come like a breeze. Any obstacle will fall down because you will be strong enough to walk straight through it. All right, that's where I want to wrap up this conversation, which I know has been probably a little bit deeper than what we're used to for a Monday night training, but it's required because I think it's that time of the year where we're getting close to starting to rethink about our goals for next year. And my encouragement to you is to be honest, as I have to be with myself. What are the things I want to improve on? What are the things that I'm proud of? And, you know, where are we heading? Where are we all heading? Okay, I'm going to stop the recording and just open it up to any conversation, questions, or comments.